everybody. Let me switch off the one thing and turn on the other thing. Welcome here to One Project Athena. It is Sunday night. It's an alright night for fighting as we are going to dive back into 1933. And with 1933, we got ourselves a bit of a mess going on here in jolly old Berlin. As last week, without the help of the silver-tongued devil, the Olympians of Project Athena seem to kind of get themselves into problems that Elijah may or may not have been able to either, I don't know, sarcastically keep them from doing or overtly stop them from doing, as Dwight Burke brought upon, exposed his spotting and looking out of the Reichstag building, and Kate and Sabella decided now was the perfect time to bust out those occult items and see exactly what they had to offer. And I, as your keeper, Grimjack21502, couldn't be happier because just a compound problem with problem. We are now in Berlin. We have people floating all around the space-time continuum. I feel like Q, but before I get too heady, let's go around and talk to everybody. Lindy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty spiffy. I am excited to get back into the lab coat of Greta von Kraus. She is in her element right now. There's finally like 45 minutes of peace and quiet. She's reading other people's mail locked in the bathroom and cracking codes. She got so much done last week. She had a great time. Everything was fine as far as she knew. I'm sure, however, this is all going to blow up in her face and she's going to be like, oh my gosh, I can never leave these people alone ever. But we'll find out and see. It'll be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome, awesome. I too, Lindy, am looking forward to this. And may I add that Greta really did yeoman's work last week in that she drilled down, did the research that's always presented itself. Thank you for the raid, my friends. It really did the yeoman's work that was there. And for those joining us from WebDM, welcome to 1933. We're playing a little Pulp Cthulhu. The characters you see before you are members of a crack team, we use that term loosely here, of investigators / Olympians, and they are currently in Nazi-occupied and Nazi-influenced Germany. So welcome. It's a feel-good tale that I'm sure everybody will love and to send you into your work week with a smile on your face. But yeah, what I was saying, Greta, is that it was when given the opportunity to do research and further the knowledge of the party, you took that baton and you ran with that baton, even though you had to run into the bathroom and hide from these other crazy sons of bitches who just, they don't want to do things like that. They want to experiment and grab the live wire. But you know what? You gotta love that. And speaking about grabbing the live wire, Allison, how are you doing?
Hey, Greg. Hey, everybody. It's Allison. I play Caitlin Jane O'Callahan, aviatrix extraordinaire, princess of the skies, America's flying sweetheart, the leader of the Olympians, who had a fantastic freaking plan last episode that all fell apart for one fumble. And maybe it wasn't the best time to pull out all the occult items and check them out. Okay. I'm sure it's all going to be fine today, though. Can't wait to see.
I can guarantee that it's going to be something today. And anytime I talk about there being something that's going to happen, it's always a good segue to go up to Steven and ask him how Dwight is doing. Dwight, Steven, Dwight, how's everything going?
I just want to put myself. Every time Dwight kills an NPC with it, he doesn't want to. He puts himself in those shoes. So I want to tell a little story about the eager beaver who went and rolled a critical when he decided to patrol the Reichstag, and then an eager beaver who decided he rolled a critical with the spot hidden. And then he made a fumble when he decided his eyes got bigger than his stomach and he come upon a ribeye. And he did what's his name? Martin from Jaws. He said, "We're going to need a bigger boat." That's what he should have got, with a bigger boat. And he got it. So, moral of the story is, eager beavers, they
get damned.
I played Dwight Burke, attorney at law of life. Thank you.
Okay, so those of you that are following along here, Eager Beavers in Cthulhu, get damned. Speaking about being damned and somebody that wasn't here last week, let's go to my man Strider, Elijah. I've got good news and bad news, my friend.
Oh no.
The good news is Elijah is alive. The bad news is he is in the same theater of operations where Clusterfuck McGee, the beaver down there, just stirred up a hornet's nest with the local Nazi elite. So we're going to have a bit of a come to Jesus moment here when we start. But how are you doing tonight, other than that ominous warning?
Oh, why does every 2 hours of Elijah's life have to be filled with misery and woe? He takes a break for a couple minutes and then okay, yeah. Strider might have a little bit of catch up to do, but Elijah certainly knows what's going on, so I will pretend that I know what's going on. I will take a page out of Stephen's book and try not to proverbially fuck the hornet's nest or whatever that is. So we'll see. Let's see.
Oh, and as we segue over to Lauren to see how Sabella's doing this evening, I'll go check and see what Summer's just done.
Oh.
Go right ahead, Lauren.
Oh, sure. Oh, hi. Good. I didn't want my segue anyway. Thanks, Greg. You know how to make me feel special.
The segue is this. Everybody has 2 more crits because you've got an angel in Summer. A goddamn angel that helps you people out of the shit you get yourselves into. An angel nonetheless.
She's the best.
She is. Oh, anyway, hi. Hello, everybody. I'm Lauren. I'm that Salty Ginger on Twitter. And just to keep it nice and brief, I play Miss Sabella Maria Oz about esoteric and antiquarian bookstore in the beautiful Lower East Side of Manhattan. And just having a wonderful time. Greg, I don't know what you expect. When else are we going to look at occult artifacts? When do we have time to do it?
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Sit down, Greg. Sit down. If you can possibly sit down lower, I would like you to. That's all.
That's better.
She's psychic. That seems like pertinent information. Psychic, 100 in showers, 100 in smooching. There we go. The end.
That is a bold statement right there. 100 in showers and 100 in smooching. Boy, oh boy.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. Okay, just so you guys know, as we go through, even though it's not currently reflected on the screen, and for our cast of thousands, we currently have the following crit count. Sabella, you have 5, Lindy 4, Allison 5, Steve 4, Strider 4. So yeah, you got 2 last week, even though you weren't here. So I gave them to you anyway, because I'm a nice, benevolent sumbitch. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, Mint Magician, thank you very much. Let us recap what happened last week on this Pulp Cthulhu Project Athena, and let everyone know exactly where the current state of circumstances stands for these 5 people that are so brazen here at the open, so confrontational. They want a piece of their keeper. It's somehow my fault that they make poor decisions. And I'm not going to say that for those of you that may not have seen the show before. I'm going to allow you to sit back, watch, and I guarantee you within 15 minutes, you're going to say, that Greg, he's right. So as we sit back and we look at last week's episode, here are the facts as presented by yours, Grimjack21502 Esquire. As stated, the group has now become part of they're embedded, if you will, in Berlin. They luckily found a small chalet apartment in which to do their dealings, and they were able to plan and think about what they wanted to do, knowing full well that the eyes of the Nazi Empire had missed them, not knowing that they were currently in the heart of their very empire. So, what did the group decide to do? They decided that they would do multiple things at once, which is always a great idea because that requires splitting the party and splitting your resources and splitting your attention, which, as we know from D&D, Cthulhu, every RPG ever is a great idea. And so, down one member, as Strider was not here last week, we sent an NPC Jaeger, Elijah, Strider's character, with Dwight, Steve's character, into the heart of Nazi-occupied Berlin at the government Reichstag building, while yours truly, the Keeper Extraordinaire, mentioned several times, "Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to do that?" To which everybody very pompously said, "Yes, Greg, of course we want to do that. Let's get to it."
It was a
And
great
so,
idea.
as we decided to go ahead and push on one man against Germany, guess what happened, chat? It went south, as the dice are often wont to do, and as I've always said, they tell a story. And as Dwight was trying to remain inconspicuous in the park opposite the governmental Reichstag building, what did he do? Well, if in D&D, he'd roll a nat 1, but here in Cthulhu, it's the opposite. On a 100 dice scale, he rolled 100, which is a fumble, which means it's a serious screw-up. And what happened? Everybody understood and decided, this guy doesn't know. He's not German. He ain't supposed to be here. And thus, hijinks ensued. But you say, well, that's the worst thing that could have possibly happened, Grimjack. Sure, I say. No one else could do anything else. Lindy, beautiful, intelligent Cthulhu vet Lindy, decided to grab all of the research, the things that can truly make you win in Cthulhu, and she took these things and she had to hide them from these people with their crazy plans, and she took them in the bathroom, locked the door like she's in the Christmas Story, and she goes through like she's deciphering something from Orphan Annie, and she learned, by God, what? By hook or by crook, Lindy learned something. Go figure. And as she advances the storyline and her own knowledge, what do the two that are left in the apartment proper do? They decide to whip out magic items that they have no idea their abilities, whether they're cursed, and activate them. Now, of course, I'm being a little bit unkind to Allison and Lauren, but they did pull out things that they had not yet experimented with. And because I am a benevolent keeper, and because I keep things in my back pocket for months and weeks and days and hours, I was able to make them both disappear. And now that's great, right? Because like Lauren pulls out 2 stopwatches and uses them at the same time. And if you're fans of Encounter Roleplay, you know you never pull out stopwatches and use them at the same time, right? Boom, disappears. And Kate, seeing Sabella disappear, decides to pull out an item of her own. An amulet, if you will. And she puts that amulet on. And chat, say it with me. She disappeared. That's right. So now, as we are recapping this recap, we have Strider, who was NPC'd and Jaegered at the time, in a hornet's nest. We have Dwight, who was being chased by these incredibly crazy Nazis driven with this fumble that he rolled. Lauren disappeared. She experienced a flashback to 1924 where she encountered one of the crew's greatest enemies and proceeded to deliver unto him secrets that he wouldn't otherwise have known. Secrets that he would use against the team come 1933. And Kate, you say? Where did she go? Well, she went to the coastline of California where she met her former partner and paramour, Jack Parsons, and she was delivered a message that it's all windows. And because of the benevolence of chat, and because of the benevolence of the people that are watching this show and love it so much, a boon was gifted, and this boon came in the form of the necklace that Allison's Kate was wearing, was transported to Dwight in the middle of this park. As Dwight fell to the grass surrounded by Nazis, he picked up the necklace, and chat, say it with me, he disappeared. And that was the last thing that we saw, kids, as we now have 3 Olympians of 5 floating through time and space. We have the other 2, one of which who is an intelligent, beautiful Cthulhu veteran in a bathroom learning things, and the other who, by no fault of his own, was Jaegered into a lot of bullshit. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, this is Pulp Cthulhu. This is Project Athena. This is 1933. Let's see if these kids live. Greta, you are
Yes.
you are within the apartment. It's
It's
blessed.
so quiet.
It's blessedly quiet. You hear it's the beautiful silence of the tomb or the library, and you have a moment to yourself, and you, my beautiful veteran, have made some progress. What would you like to know?
Oh, well, Greg, the last thing I remember is I was I figured out the code that was in these letters, and I was just deciphering them all, like just going through letters trying to find out whatever information I could from the letters locked in the Valentine Ale safe and the Meadham building. Mm-hmm. Oh, Greg, you're muted.
Damn it. Lindy,
Yes.
I'm just so excited. Lindy, as you would know, and as I explained it before, when you were grabbed these letters before, it was back in the Ballantine Ale Factory, the brewery in New Jersey. And it was more of a just grabbing everything and kind of sweeping it into your confidence and your possession, just to make sure that you could go through it at a later date. And now when you are housed up in this bathroom and you are able to go through this at a later date, you're able to you siphoned off the stuff that didn't make a whole lot of sense. You saw that these were invoices. You know, who needs 200 kegs? Who needs 70 cases? Blah blah blah. You kind of pushed all that stuff to the side. However, when you got through the meat of all of these seemingly benign invoices, you got and found a code that you were able to decipher, and you were able to then extrapolate back to the invoices themselves and see that these invoices were actually codes and communiques used by the Nazis. Now, the original one said that Dietrich had been...
Yeah, cannot be trusted. He attempted murder of Alvensleben.
Correct. Yes, right. It's Oktoberfest. There was a lot of invoices that had come in, and so it was things were ramping up here. But yes, that Joseph Dietrich could not be trusted anymore. And using that code that you saw broken down, you were able to get the following. As you go back and as you are spending this time in this blessed quiet that you now have, Greta, you are able to discover the following: that these invoices are invoices of a different matter. Instead of marking the destinations of kegs and cases and other elements of the brewery, they're actually showing the whereabouts of a certain group of Olympians. They are all... It's triangulating positions across the greater tri-state area, following people to an airfield in New Jersey, to 116th Street in Harlem. As each of these communiques came in, they were keeping tabs on the Olympians and other people that they were very interested in. And as another gift from the gods of wine and Dionysus, we see that still greasing palms and buying votes, a vote bought is a vote earned. Crits all around from one honest Pete Abraham, but everybody's up 1. Sabella 6, Lindy 5, Allison 6, Dwight 5, Strider 5. So as you're going through all of this, Lindy...
Who are these other people they're keeping tabs on?
It appears to be the Mafia.
Ooh.
One Phil Castillo, a Mr. Lecht, is also being followed.
Uh-huh.
There's some discussion and confusion about the whereabouts of Lect as it pertains to the Olympians, as it seems to cross quite a bit. But nevertheless, they continue to maintain this distinction between Daryl Lect and Elijah Sawyer.
What about Dillinger? Is he on that list?
Dillinger is not on the list.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Also, what you find out is it seems that there is after the arrival or the return of the Olympians to New York City, one Ludolf von Alvenschleben, who was in New York for a period of time that coincided with the Olympians' return, ordered and activated something called the Shroud Protocol. Roll an idea roll for me.
Okay. I'm gonna use 3 fucking luck. That's dumb.
Okay, yeah, 3 fucking luck is the best luck to use. So as you use 3 fucking luck, you find out that with the locations that you have seen and have been provided to you, and with this kind of admission of the Shroud, it appears that Ludolf von Alvenschleben is intimately aware of Sibella's powers, how to track them and how to disrupt them. And it seems that he has initiated some type of protocol that is going to effectively eliminate her power of sight. There's not a lot of detail given other than how this is being deployed. And now this is where it gets a bit confusing as you're trying to put these just basic generalities together. The Shroud appears to be an item or a person that is being moved around in conjunction with Sibella. And this item or person or thing or group of people they're somehow blocking her sight. So whenever they would learn the whereabouts of Sibella, they would move this group accordingly into a vicinity of no fewer than 10 miles to try and give her psychic powers a static loop, that turpentine stamp that Sibella would know, that Greta would be familiar with.
And it sounds like they're moving it from place to place, not that it's something that they planted on her and is being like automatically moved.
No, it looks like something that they are moving in response to her location.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
good to know. That's good to know.
Now, in addition to that, and as you rolled very well on your library use,
I know.
Yeah. You also learn the following from these are also the caduceus letters that you're going through. These are also kind of you're piecing together and kind of making a crime board out of the information as you find it.
In the bathroom, like just
the bathroom,
I have the finger from the needle teeth guy and Gruber's hand just helping me hold spots in places and moving it around on the bathroom floor.
Right. So as you're moving all this around and as you're kind of drawing the lines of understanding between this point and the next, you also come across what you believe to be a working theory. Now, determined by your role, you're pretty confident that this theory is correct. I will let you know that further information could support or refute it. Okay. So this is what it appears to be to Greta as she is placing these things together. It seems that there are at least 3 separate factions currently working within the Nazi regime. You can see independent movements coming from Hitler directly and his legion of Dietrichs. These are chaotic and homicidal orders that have kind of been given out that seem to follow a direct mandate from Berlin's highest rank. So it seems like Hitler has his own army of Dietrichs that he is employing specifically to his will. And from what you have been able to uncover with these various fragments of communique, they are fiercely loyal to him and follow whatever he says. Now, in addition to that first faction, there's a second one that is manned by Ludolf von Alvensleben as the head and the figurehead, really, of the Ministry of the Occult. And they are caring about the business of eldritch acquisition and enforcement. And it seems that Ludolf von Alvensleben is the point person for getting anything that might help the Third Reich that goes beyond bullets and guns and faith. Things that you have been experienced to working with the Olympians, things of a decidedly mystical nature. It seems that Ludolf von Alvensleben has either convinced the Ministry of the Occult or vice versa that the war, if it is to be won, will not be in the trenches as the Great War. It will be in the minds and the powers of the mind. And Ludolf von Alvensleben and the Ministry of the Occult are a very powerful faction according to the notes that you've seen. Mm-hmm. The final faction is a much smaller faction, but it seems to be that the war criminal Joseph Dietrich, who is used, and his name is used in conjunction with those that are also sympathetic to Hitler, but this Joseph Dietrich is entirely capitalized. So when his name is printed in the communiques, even in code, everything is bolded out. Okay. And he is stated to be a war criminal that attempted to kill Ludolf von Alvensleben. He is said to possess a small army somewhere in the Alps, and he still wields influence among certain members of Hitler's puppet government. You get the feeling that despite trying to kill Ludolf von Alvensleben, just from the lack of a kill order that has come in from Hitler himself, that if Dietrich Prime were to return to the fold, Hitler would accept him. And once again, this is just what you're gleaning as you look and kind of put all this stuff together. And as your hour becomes 2, becomes 3, as you're sitting in your bathroom, just having a fine time, humming your classical music, you look over and you see the final piece of information that you're put together. And if it had been anybody else, they wouldn't have, with the exception of Elijah, they would not have figured this part out. But because the beautiful and the veteran Lindy and Greta decided to go ahead and do this, you get the following. The Nazis, under the orders of Ludolf von Alvensleben, have kidnapped and detained the man known as the Vatican.
Ooh. Okay.
And as you sit back, exhale, and look at the work of a true Cthulhu professional, and it is good. Greta, it is sound. It is some good science. It is some good science. We are going to cut to the park. And as this is a reverse in time a bit, we are going to cut to Dwight Burke as Dwight is running for his goddamn life from these people that are currently all over him. These Nazis are using geometry to pincer him off as he's running in a completely open field. And as Dwight is running, figuring out ways and angles in which to retaliate, in which to escape, looking for vehicles, looking for anything that could save him, he trips as if someone has reached up and grabbed him from the ground itself. He falls, and as he stares there looking into the green grass of this bright noonday in Berlin, his gaze peels from the ground, and there, nestled in the blades of the grass, is an amulet. And the amulet looks like an hourglass, but upon further inspection, it is a triangle atop another triangle. And last week, as Dwight grabbed the triangle, he disappeared. Now, 2 things happen at this point. 1, obviously, is that Dwight disappears. 2, is that Elijah Sawyer, who was the backup for Dwight Burke, who was conveniently placed far away from Dwight Burke to make sure that 2 is conspicuous, 2 singles less conspicuous. And as Dwight has proven, this was a sound plan. Elijah, you are watching as Dwight runs through the middle of the park. And just as you are about to do whatever it is you want him to do, you see him fall into the grass, and you witness with your own eyes him vanishing from sight. So, Strider, welcome back. Welcome to Berlin. Welcome to the shitstorm. What would you like to do?
Were there folks actively scrambling after Dwight, trying to find him and chase after him?
You see 7 impeccably dressed SS officers led by a giant of a man who is coming from the Reichstag building. You would know by description and by what you've received that this is Ludolf von Alvenschleben. He has released his hounds, so to speak. And as they were mere moments away from cornering, or at least being able to have a firing window onto Dwight himself, he vanished. And as soon as Dwight vanishes, you can see that perhaps none of them saw him slip from existence, but it was enough for them to stop and not kind of figure out, where is he? Is he on the ground? Is he? And they slow and begin to crawl and reach for sidearms. You witness all of this. But the thing that your eyes are drawn to the most is kind of at the middle of this V. The middle of this U, this pincer, is Ludolf von Alvenschleben, and he is striding forward. And where Dwight disappeared, despite not having a direct line of sight on him, Ludolf von Alvenschleben is heading toward it like a crow, just straight as it flies.
And how well hidden am I? Could I roll a stealth check just to see how confident I am in my nestling ability?
Well, it's funny that you should say that. What we're going to have you do is roll a disguise roll, because this park is filled with Berliners who are enjoying the day. You are dressed as a Berliner. Upon just cursory glance, you appear to be a member of the city. You are separate, but let's roll a disguise roll just to see how well you are doing.
I'll take one of my crits on that. I want to hang around and get as much information as I can.
Okay, so we're going to burn a crit. I like that already. Okay, so with a crit, that is a natural 1, which in Cthulhu is fantastic on a 1 out of 100 scale, low being great. So you look, you're perfectly blended in, Strider, as Elijah's kind of just watching this whole thing unfold. However, from your perch of being invisible, as far as this urban environment goes, you're able to see Ludolf von Alvenschleben come in, and as his men are beginning to kind of look back and look to one another, as Dwight's disappearance is becoming more of a, oh, he's not kneeling down, he's gone. Somehow he got away from us. And as the looks begin to go back and forth, you see Ludolf von Alvenschleben raise his hand. And as he raises his hand, I need you to make a power check for me.
That is an extreme success, because Elijah is good at everything.
Okay, and so being good at everything is definitely going to help out in this particular circumstance. As Elijah, you have seen something or heard of something similar before. At the campaign party for one Honest Pete Abraham, there was a report and an experience of everyone in the place, in the Plaza Hotel, freezing.
I recall.
And as you are standing there, you feel this kind of, this locking, this it's almost a mental suggestion for you to tense your muscles as hard as they would go. But instead of doing that, you're able to kind of shake it off, whether it's, knowledge that you've previously possessed. But as you're standing there, you see that everybody in the park freezes. There's a child that was chasing a ball, and in mid-run, he is frozen, drops to the ground because he is off-balanced in that run. You see birds fall from the sky as they are no longer able to keep themselves in flight. You see the other Nazi soldiers frozen as Ludolf von Alvenschleben, with his hand upraised, comes through the park, looking around, and you hear him say, Heinle Jen! And you're pretty sure you know what it means, but I need you to make an education roll to see if you can figure out exactly what it is, the command that is being given.
Elijah is an educated man, but he is focused on remaining still right now and trying not to draw any attention.
Okay, so you know that he has issued some type of declaration, but you're not sure what it is. And you see him begin to relax his hand. Is there anything that you would like to do?
Remain completely still. Don't take a sip of my coffee from the cafe behind me I'm leaning against. Just nothing at all. Keeping my eyes on him.
So, with the decree of Heinle Zhen, as his voice booms across the entire area, when he releases his hand, every German speaker in the area lies down, except for Elijah Sawyer. And let's cut to America's Flying Sweetheart, Kate. Kate, you're on the top of a tower. It is an old tower in disrepair. It appeared to probably have been a keep of some renown at some point. But as of now, it seems to have fallen into that state right before it would be without service. You couldn't be able to walk into it. The ramparts are crumbling. All of the different perches are crumbling, but you're still atop this tower at the corner of a keep or a castle. And as you're standing there, and before you get a chance to kind of really focus on what's going on, as the sky above you is purple, Dwight Burke appears beside you, lying on the ground, holding an amulet in his hand, a very familiar amulet.
Where the fuck am I?
I have my 45 out and pointed at him on the ground.
Kate!
Dwight, is that you?
Where the hell are we?
I holster the 45 and give you my hand to help you up.
Dwight takes it. He's like,
Dwight, you can roll an idea or an intelligence check at advantage.
I'll roll just to see if I can extreme. Oh, 2 hearts. Okay.
Yeah, you remember this tower. You were sent up on this tower during the war. There was a breach, a bulge, if you will, from the enemy line as the Central Powers were able to burst through in this particular region of France. And as the line crumbled and as No Man's Land was invaded by these Germans and other members of the Central Powers, you were sent up into this tower to give covering fire. As you turn and kind of realize exactly where you are, you can see the advancing German horde coming over the small rises of this like French hillock that you're currently on. As you turn and look, you can see 3 people that you vaguely remember the names of as being Edith, Pat, and Winston Colchester as they disappear into the belly of this fortress. But you are now on top of the tower, and your job is to hold off these Germans. And before, where you had ground support, it seems that Dwight Burke, sniper of the Great War, friend to America's Flying Sweetheart, the 2 of you are on top of a tower, and there is an ocean coming.
What do we have with us, weapon-wise?
Dwight, you have your Garand, and Kate has her pistol. The grease gun is not there.
Kate, I've been here before.
Well, I don't think here is here, Dwight. this is I think this is nowhere again.
Dwight looks out the window at what's coming at us.
Well, you're in an open air top of a tower. So this is a tower without a top. You're not like in a bell tower or
I
anything.
got
It's
it.
a,
So
like a wide.
we can directly look over and see what's coming at us then.
Yep, you see figures that, while they're cloaked in shadow, appear to be German troops. Troops from the Great War.
Kate, we are about. If this is nowhere, I wish nowhere would get us the fuck out of here because we are about to be in a world of shit.
Dwight, let me see that. Let me see that amulet.
Dwight hands it to her and he like loads the gun up. How far are they away from us?
They are approaching. They're several hundred yards out right now, but you have a very good view of them. They'll be within 100 yards in mere seconds.
Dwight's gonna put two dicks in the dirt if he can.
You're gonna start shooting?
Yep.
Okay, roll 2 attacks for me, please.
Two successes.
Okay, boom, boom. 2 shots ring out into the night. The first 2 of presumably a volley as you are dropping the first grains of sand in this beachhead that's coming toward you.
Does that halt them?
Oh no, they're charging. They're in mid-charge. And as they're coming towards the tower, they definitely note that you have shot, and you see a couple of them kind of some of the rear guard taking aim at the tower, but in your expert opinion, they're out of range with the guns that they have. But as soon as they advance with the rest of the infantry, it's going to be mere seconds before they have at least the ability to take a shot at you.
While all this is happening, Kate's got her back turned and has kind of slid down against the parapet, so she's seated behind it, almost as if it's not even happening. And I'm focusing all of my attention on the amulet. I wonder if you'll let me roll an occult here and see what I can learn from it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll crit the roll then.
Okay.
Tell me everything, Greg.
Tell you everything? Okay, well, you're not able to glean anything more than you would be able to glean if you spent time with it. So it's not like, being able to crit something with an occult roll is to be able to draw knowledge off of it that you would usually be able to do so if you had more time to do it. And so as you're looking at this, you realize that if this is anything, this is some type of, for lack of a better word, a cult icon, and it appears to hold some type of power over, at the very least, time and space. Beyond that, it's completely above your pay grade. You'd have to be somebody with from Project Kronos, like Barney, who has spent years and years and years studying the occult to maybe glean a little bit more off of this thing. But just looking at this and your extensive knowledge of the occult, that's all that you can really get. And if anything, it's a reminder that Jack got into something after his time with you. And it's something that was manifested in this amulet that he has, that he bestowed to Wally, who Wally bestowed to you. And it appears to it, it's a key, and you're not sure how to use it.
As soon as I've learned that much, I'm gonna reach out from where I'm standing and just put my hand on Dwight, like around his ankle or something like that, since I'm sitting down. And with the other hand, I'm just gonna drop it over my head.
Okay, you drop it over your head.
Yep.
Nothing happens. Let's cut to Sabella. As Sabella, a moment ago you were talking to one Joseph Dietrich. This
Who?
moment, Joe Dietrich, Joey D.
Got it.
They
Now
call
I
him.
understand.
They call him Big D here in
I don't think
Berlin.
they do. Go
They
on,
do.
Gregory.
Everybody says that. Anyway, that's what I heard. You blink your eyes and you're back in the apartment, and the racks of clothes are back. Greta's laboratory is back, but you can tell by the light coming through the windows that at the very least several hours have passed. And so as you kind of pop back into existence, I believe it was noted last week, you can hear the hum of classical music coming from the bathroom.
Am I exactly where I was standing when I left, or am I in the bedroom?
You would be in the bedroom where you were standing by the bed.
Okay. See? Learning. Greta?
Hello?
What time is Greta? What time is it?
That is an excellent question. I've been busy.
Greta, it's kind of urgent. It's kind of urgent. I need to know what time it is.
I will.
But I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad that you're here.
I've been here this whole time. Oh.
I haven't. What time is it, please?
I will gracefully stride out of the bathroom, holding, like, one hand has, like, the pile of papers and, like, my notes on the top, all the translated versions on top, and then Gruber's hand is on top, like, the paperweight, holding it all down. I open the door, I walk out, and I look for a clock.
Yeah, it's almost 4 o'clock. So it's been about 3.5, 4 hours since.
It's about 4 o'clock.
What?
4 o'clock?
Oh, good.
Mm.
Good. Have you seen Kate? I think she's probably worried.
9, I haven't seen anyone. I've been busy. It has been very quiet. I assumed you two were reading or doing some research, or what were you doing?
Research. I was researching, and I learned things and stuff.
Good.
Kind of.
Oh.
And I need to say sorry. That's just know that I am. Don't worry about it. It's not.
You can't say you apologize and then tell me not to worry about it. That is not how language works.
Right, we were working on this. I am sorry for something, and I may have done that I did not know that I did, that caused me to have some feelings about you early on when we met, and they were completely unwarranted, and I am sorry. She looks like she is completely pink. She's as pink as her dress. It's bad. It's bad.
Perhaps you should have a seat.
I need to find Kate.
You look distressed.
I am definitely something. There are words for what I am.
Is she not in the bedroom?
I was just in the bedroom. See, so I was here, but this is very complicated. How have you been? I mean, she was in the bedroom and I was in the bedroom at a different time, like a very different time. Like I was in the bedroom in 1924. It's not important.
While she's talking, I'm just setting the papers down on a table, walking over. I'm like grabbing her by the shoulders, shifting her over, and then sitting her down in a seat before she hyperventilates and passes out, because I don't want to carry any more unconscious people.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Everything is okay now.
Yeah,
Greta, I don't like Berlin. I don't like it.
Well, I have some news for you. I didn't understand, and you were talking very quickly. And
okay, we can brush over it. We don't have to talk about it ever again. Go on.
You just rambled.
I do that, yes.
But I have information you might find interesting.
Oh, good. I love reading.
Like, walk over. I'm gonna lift up the hand, set it aside, pull over the notes that I wrote. Basically, the translation. I'm gonna be like, this is something I have decoded from. That was an information we have found. There was a secret code in letters.
Oh, good. That sounds fun. Great.
It is about the turpentine you have been speaking of.
Good.
Yeah, it's all this information.
Great.
So, and you basically can just read everything.
Yeah. I'll read through it.
Mhm.
Open.
So it is good to know that they did not plant something on you, but it is something just in the vicinity.
So but you said in these notes anyway, you said they move it when they know where I am?
Yeah, it seems they have a way of tracking you, or at least the usage of your abilities.
Well, it's happened here. With the photograph.
But we know Alvenschleben is behind it. Are we within 10 miles of the Reichstag, Greg? Yeah. I'll be like, well, we are within 10 miles of the Reichstag. Perhaps there is more than one shroud, and Alvenschleben has one on himself.
Fun. This day keeps getting better and better. As does this city and this country and this life. It's great. You haven't seen Kate.
I have not seen any fun. I have been cracking code.
Yes, that is very good of you.
Getting information.
I feel properly chastised. Thank you. So, okay. This is great. This is good.
Knowledge is power.
Right.
Yes.
Sure. Right. Right. It seems like maybe I don't know what to do. I pull out the pocket watches again. Closed,
They are
obviously.
They're both shut, correct.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the papers that Greta has given you?
Yeah.
I didn't give her the whole stack. I just gave her my translations.
You gave her the stuff that involves the shroud stuff, though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Roll a library use for me, librarian.
It's a fumble, Greg.
Oh my.
Notes everywhere.
Yep.
Okay. Steve, what happens when you fumble stuff? It's not good, right?
Paper cut.
It gets infected. It is terrible. You should tell me when you get paper cuts.
An interdimensional eldritch infection, of course.
That's
right.
fine. Just make it quick. Let's go.
Okay, so as you are looking at these things and as you're kind of trying to put something, you can't get your mind. Where's Kate? Where the hell was I? Your mind is constantly kind of drawn to the events of what for you was the last few minutes, but appears to be the last few hours now. And as you're thinking more and more about this, and as you just can't get over it, and it's not a mania or like a temporary insanity or anything like that, but it's a driving force at the surface of your brain. And when a psychic of Sabella's power focuses on something, what we're going to say is this. As you pull out the pocket watches, I'd like you to roll a power check for me. And you cannot crit this shit because I will crit it right back.
Crit it.
I've got 2 crits to do whatever I want with. I crit 2. No.
Extreme. Suck my dick. Let's fucking go, Greg. Come on, let's fucking go. I'm very calm and collected. Continue.
Okay. All right. So here's what happens. As you pull out the 2 watches and as your surface thoughts are on what has just occurred to you, you inadvertently, with your proximity, with your touch, and with your thoughts, reactivate both of the watches. And as they trigger, and as both of the faceplates, or the covers of the faceplates, pop open to reveal what normally would be the current time, but in this case is showing a time 12 hours removed from one another, you are swept back again to a moment that you just left.
Am
Only
I
this
with her?
time, Greta is with you.
Ah!
So as you produce these, and without a power roll of an extreme, this would have been bad, but you're able to control this shift. And because you were thinking of this very moment of what had happened just moments before for Sabella, you return, and there, still in his bathrobe, only this time, as if a couple of minutes have passed, a cup of coffee, as Joey D in 1924 takes a sip, and he says, "Ah, Dr. von Kraus, I presume." And we will cut away from that scene as we go back to the park for Elijah, as Elijah, with the offering of Ludolf von Alvenschleben to the crowd, as he was offering them all to take to their bellies and lie down with his Hinligen, and you did not do so. I would like you to roll a luck roll for me.
Luck roll I will do. Critical. I rolled a 1.
So, just as a fumble is terrible, so too is a critical brilliant. And so, as Elijah is sitting there and realizes something was said, as soon as you see the hand go down and this crowd begin to move as if they're going to lie down, you do your best version of Simon Says and just drop with them. And as you're laying there, your cup of coffee kind of spilling on the ground beside you, your belly to the pavement, not one of the Nazi soldiers look at you, and Ludolf von Alvenschleben does not pay you any mind as he begins to stride through the park, looking in the faces of every pedestrian, every non-uniformed person that he sees. And as 5 minutes, 10 minutes pass, he goes back and begins to start looking at all of the uniformed people. As he looks in their faces, at some points he will touch the side of their cheeks, and he doesn't come close to your position, as you are a little bit removed, as you mentioned in your narrative, against the wall of a cafe that is kind of bordering the park. But you bear witness to all of this as Ludolf von Alvenschleben looks around, gets an exasperated look on his face, as you can see he is not happy with having been evaded. He lifts his hand again, clenches his fist, and life returns to the park, nobody seemingly the wiser, except for Elijah Sawyer.
Cool. Elijah's plan's going to, as soon as people start moving around, sound comes back. Some people are wondering why they're lying down on the sidewalk. He's going to stand up, look at his coat stained with coffee, kind of scowl. He's going to make his way back to the apartment, I guess, because Dwight's gone, and that is the only place he knows in the entire city. So,
okay, and with a critical roll on your luck, not a damn thing happens as Elijah skips and sachets through Berlin, seemingly at one with this, the heart of Germany. You found your town, Elijah. And so as you walk through, you make it all the way back to the apartment. But we're going to say that when you open the door around 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:15, it's empty.
There's
one's
a
around.
hand on some papers on the table.
cool. He's going to change out of those nasty coffee stained clothes then.
Yeah, you go right ahead. Yeah, it's you've nobody is here. So as you are being able to move and look at that, I'm going to give you this additional bit of information, Strider, as Elijah is now in the apartment by himself. all of the notes that Greta had taken are meticulously arranged. Some of them spilled a bit, as if maybe dropped from about a 3.5, 4 foot height. But they're still very well organized. And in the bathroom, should you use it to clean up or freshen up a bit, you will see what looks like a broad sketch of cross-referenced and circled items and notes and information that is drawn together and placed throughout that Greta has put together over the last several hours. And as you walk in, you identify the final piece of information that Greta identified, in that the Germans have detained and acquired the Vatican.
Yeah. Now he's going to spend the evening going through her notes and contemplating what that all means.
Okay. Roll me a library use, as there's information in here that Elijah would know.
For someone that reads all the time, you think the library use would be a little bit better. He failed that roll.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're looking through everything, you come to the same conclusions that Greta has come to, in that you're following her paths and her theories, and they all seem sound. So any information in game that Greta was able to come to with her, decryption of these codes, Elijah himself possesses right now. Whether or not that's delineated to the rest of the crew, that is up to either Elijah or Greta. But those two have the information. No one else does. Well, with the exception of the shroud, which was gifted to Sabella from Greta. But while we're talking about things of that devious nature, and as Elijah is enjoying a really a pleasant evening at home, it's the day's been good. Dwight disappeared, but you win some, you lose some.
He deserves some time off, yeah.
Right. So as you're able to rest, I would like to cut right back to Kate and Dwight as they are on top of a tower. Dwight, I want you to make 4 rifle shot rolls for me, please. Okay,
Dead
so
motherfuckers.
Okay, so as from this elevated position, as Dwight, both in the past and in the present, wherever this present
That's
is,
a 1.
I saw that. As that's coming through, which is the second one in about 5 rolls, which is insane. But Kate, you're seeing Dwight just peg these things as they're coming, these soldiers as they're coming towards the tower with absolute. It's oblivion. He is just laying waste to them as they come forward. But where he is pruning, there is a forest coming towards you all. Kate, as you've dropped the amulet around your neck, it's there. It feels slightly warm, but the previous transposition does not occur.
Okay.
Can Dwight realize that this is futile, right?
Yeah, there's too many targets.
Yeah. Kate, we have no chance here.
Well, I'm open to your ideas. Where are we gonna go?
Dwight's like, let's, he saw the amulet. This fucking amulet, where did it come from? What does it do? And he kind of like, are you holding on to it?
I'm wearing it around my neck right now.
Yeah, Dwight grabs it too. Anything.
Dwight, roll a power check for me.
Success.
Okay, Dwight, as you reach for the amulet, you are forced back by what feels like compressed air. There's not anything painful about it, but it just keeps your hand from getting towards the amulet around Kate's neck. And Kate, you hear from behind you,
From behind me,
Yes.
I'm sitting against a wall.
Yes. It seems to be the wall that connects the towers in the castle, if you were to just guess and not turn around.
I turn around.
It's Jack Parsons.
Can you give me the geography of this? Because I figured I'm sitting against something. How did I hear something behind me?
Yeah, this is, imagine like a medieval keep with towers with flat tops on them.
Yeah.
4 points at 4 corners of the keep with walls lined for transportation between the 4 tower tops. So it's a traditional, like a quad keep. And from the one lane delivery system at the top of the tower is Jack, as he has said that to you.
Kate stands slowly. And faces him, but doesn't say anything. Her hand is on the pearl grips of that 45, but she's just waiting to see how this unfolds.
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear or see anything other than the
Jake.
wave of German soldiers that are coming towards you. They have now reached the walls, the exterior walls of the keep.
Shoot again.
Yeah. Give me 4 shots. You can shoot as much as you want. Just whatever is occupying Dwight's time, I need to know.
Can Dwight get that thing off her neck?
He can try again if he wants.
Yeah, he's gonna try.
Make a power check for me. Again, you feel that compressed buffet, only this time it's more forceful as you take a step or two back as you stagger when you're trying to reach for it.
Next turn, can I crit it?
Kate, again you hear,
Okay.
No. It's all just windows, Kate.
Kate just shakes her head.
Kate.
She holds her hand up like this. JP, what the hell are you talking about?
You see him kind of move his head down, and it begins for the first time you see animation in him in this state. Back in Times Square, and even though Greta's not here, when Greta saw this flashback of the coastline, you know, this is an animation that beguiles somebody that's not ensorcelled, as he is kind of moving his head in a figure 8 pattern back and forth. It's all just windows, Kate. It's all just windows. I can't say anything. It's windows. And he just goes back and forth.
Kate. Does she hear me at all?
Well, I threw my hand up when you said it the last time, so you know I can hear you.
I apologize. I did not see that.
Yeah. Kate slowly draws the 45 and takes a couple of steps. I'm not holding it at the ready quite yet, though, but a couple of steps out toward Parsons, just getting closer.
He's dressed as he was in the vision that you first had with him. He has like the pajama bottoms on, no shirt. His hair is disheveled. He's thinner though than he was in that vision you just had of him. His eyes are sunken. His ears seem too big, as if he's lost too much weight too quickly. his ribs are showing from both the front and the rear as he turns and rocks. And when his arms go up to grab his head, you see that the biceps are emaciated. They're not as robust as they were when you knew him. And he just keeps rocking and he keeps saying, "It's all just windows. Katie, it's all just windows."
She steps closer. She's just out of his, kind of out of range of where I think he could lunge if he wanted to. Sweet Jesus, Jack, what have you gotten yourself and us into?
For a moment, his eyes kind of flash and look over, and you see the blue of his eyes kind of brace and wave against that void with the starlit points in them as they kind of shift over and over like a chameleon, bleeding from the normalcy of the blue irises to that opaque black sheet with the pinpricks of light as he just kind of goes back and forth. And while it looks as if every ounce of his body wants to say something, all he says is, "It's all just windows." Dwight, roll a spot hidden for me.
Success. Barely.
You see the German soldiers explode into the courtyard of the interior of the keep beyond your position.
Dwight's going to try to grab that necklace off of her again.
Roll a power check.
I'll do credit.
Okay. With the crit as it comes through and you reach to grab it, instead of being blown off the fucking wall, you again feel that explosion of power, only this time it is enough to gift you with 2 points of damage as this backlash of energy hits both your mind and the hand that reached for it. And Kate, you don't hear Dwight anymore. Jack's hand reaches out towards Kate. It's shaking, and it's just extended towards Kate. "Windows, Kate. Windows. Windows, Kate. It's all just windows."
Kate steps back another step. What's the distance down to the interior of the courtyard?
You're looking at about 4 floors of today's level, so you're looking at 32 to 36 feet. From your actual elevated position, probably closer to 40.
And I don't have my serpent gun, you said?
You do not.
Kate looks at Jack and looks down into the courtyard and looks back at him and then looks down into the courtyard and she just starts unloading the 45 at any target that she can see. I know it's out of range, but she's just emptying the clip, and as she fires, she screams, just a blood-curdling scream of rage and frustration.
The bullets all strike true as you're firing into a mass and a wave of people that are exploding into this bottom area. What I'd like you to roll, though, is a power check.
Success.
As you scream in rage absolute, and as Kate fires the gun, knowing full well that just like Dwight, there aren't enough bullets. You are outnumbered. But each of the bullets striking something in this mass of flesh that is bursting into the keep. As you're firing, And as you kind of are looking down the sights, a hand reaches over and touches your forearm. And Jack is beside you, and his eyes are clear for a moment. And he says, "Fly, Kate." And over his shoulder, in a field that you previously did not see, sits a biplane.
This is feeling awfully dream world to me, over his shoulder on the 4th level of this keep. At this point, I look back for Dwight.
What am I doing at this point?
You can see her. Kate, you cannot see Dwight.
He's like disappeared.
You seem like you're up here by yourself.
Call out for him.
Dwight, you can hear her calling out for you.
Kate, I hear you. Do I see her? Is she physically in front of me?
Yep, you can see her. You cannot see whatever she sees, but you can see her yelling for you.
Do I have hold of the necklace?
No.
Is there anywhere I can grab her and go?
You've
They're
only
coming up the
tried.
steps, right? We're trapped.
You've only tried to grab the necklace. So if you want to try to grab somewhere
I
else
try to-
on Kate.
I try to grab her.
Okay, where?
I would grab her by. I'm gonna try to subdue her and just take her physically
You're gonna try-
and like hold
that's-
on.
that's
to
what I
her.
wanna-
I'm gonna wrap her up.
You're gonna try to like grab her, throw her over your like fireman's carry, like soldier carry.
What is there anywhere I think I can get out of this area? I'm trapped. Am I trapped? Do I realize that they've hit the courtyard? Is there anywhere I can go? I just want to hold her physically, like grasp her. I'm trying to get this necklace to where I can physically get a hold of this necklace. If I can get it off of her, he's going to try to destroy the necklace if he gets a hold of it.
Okay. I want you to roll a strength check for this reason. You're going to be able to pick up Kate, but I want to know just how well you can do it.
Grit.
Okay. Yeah. You pick her up into your arms and you're like running off towards the far tower, trying to put as much distance between yourself and the horde that's down in the courtyard as you can. And as you get over to the other tower, you're running through a grass field. And Kate, your eyes revert away. And as you're looking behind, you see you're being carried by something away from Jack. And as you're watching, Jack looks and he nods. And the void returns to his eyes and he says, "It's all just windows." And you're both in a field. A biplane is in front of you.
And I'm aware that Dwight's carried me here.
You weren't aware of it until as soon as Jack said that, you
I
realized
would
that
be
you're...
continued like Kate, trying to get her. Kate, trying to snap her out. What do I see when I get in the field?
You were running on top of a castle wall, and then all of a sudden you were waist deep in tall plain grass, and there is a biplane in front of both of you. It seems to be of Allied make.
Of what vintage?
1914, one of the very first of the biplanes to come out. It is unarmed. It appears
Dwight
to
has
be
never
unarmed.
been so happy to see a plane
And Kate's
in literally
slapping
all
him.
his life.
And I'm slapping and kicking and put me down. God damn it, Dwight. What?
Kate, he's like, he realizes that she's, and he puts her down. Fly this fucking thing, please. He like basically begs her, get us out of here now.
None of it's real, Dwight. None of this is real. How did you get here?
Yeah, her saying that kind of like snaps him out of it. Like, yeah, what the fuck?
How did you get here?
Dwight takes like a long breath, like he has to think because his adrenaline is beyond belief right now. I was in Berlin. And they caught me.
Who did?
Some eager beaver. And all I saw was an amulet, and I grabbed it. And here we are. We were on that fucking do I even see a tower? It's just a field now.
Just a field. You don't see a castle. You don't see a tower. You don't see a German horde.
How did you get here?
She just reaches down and kind of holds the amulet up off her chest as she's turning around, taking a quick turn around the plane that's there, not touching it or anything, but just looking at it.
Make a physics roll for me, Kate O'Callahan.
Fail.
Plane looks good.
For the record, before failing that roll, I had not planned to fly this plane anywhere. For the record, I'm not metagaming this.
Dwight knows year. Does he knows when he was in that fucking tower before, right?
What's that? Yeah, you remember
Dwight
being
knows
in that.
Where he's at physically.
Well, you don't have a point of reference right now.
He knew where he was before.
Correct. Yes, he knew he was in 19 during the war.
Kate, I don't know how to get out of here. We're in some fucking loop.
At this point, Kate's completely ignoring you. She sits down in the grass underneath the wing of the biplane and pulls she lays the 45 on the grass next to her, and replaces the magazine as she does. And then she pulls the amulet off of her head and just sort of turns it around and over in her hands.
Roll spot hidden.
Also a fail.
Can I roll it?
I'm too low on luck to blow him.
Yeah. Dwight, you can roll this right here. It'll take a harder extreme. Temperature's nice.
Can Dwight shoot the fucking thing?
It's in my hands.
Well, Dwight's gonna take it off of her. Let me see this, Kate.
You're gonna take it from Kate? Is Kate gonna let him have it?
I'm gonna say, no. Kate, let me see the amulet.
Dwight, calm down for a second. Let me think, would you please?
Kate, we're in a field.
No, we're not in a field. We're in some kind of dream or something. None of this is real.
And with that, we cut to an apartment in Berlin in 1924 as Joseph Dietrich says, I don't understand why you're here. This is just Berlin. Takes a drink. Why are you back here?
Just hold, everybody. Be still. Greta? Yep, nope, don't worry about it. I would bother lying to you, but I'm terrible at it. Greta, just please don't say anything. Just trust me. Look at me. It's gonna be all right. Just 1 second. I can feel you looking at. Okay. This is fine. There's just a little stuff is happening. All right. Greta, this is 1924. We're just where we were. We're about to go back. After I ask I just had one more question. I did this on purpose. Greta was just in the room.
Dietrich ignores you and walks over to Dr. Greta von Kraus.
Uh-huh.
So, Doctor, what is your story? Are you happy with your current assignment with these Olympians?
And I kind of look around, and it's obviously like morning here, right? Yeah. Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen, Fräulein.
Happy is such a strong emotional word.
Let's pick a different word then. What would you call it?
Employed.
You are here? They're paying you. You are a mercenary then.
Employed is also a strong word.
Let's pick another.
I'm here.
Are you happy to be here?
Well, 24th is not a bad year in Germany.
I've seen better.
Perhaps 26th
perhaps
was quite good.
I wouldn't know.
I closed the watcher. So I'm done. I closed the watcher.
I'm done.
Roll a power check for me.
I crit it.
Okay, you guys disappear.
Bye.
Having a nice conversation.
Nope. Bye.
You guys disappear, and Elijah is sitting there in a freshly showered, as he has cleaned himself off of coffee and the grime of simply just walking through a wonderful Berlin evening. But you guys
Elijah's
pop back
there
into
in that room with all that equipment. He has panties on. He's checking himself out in the mirror with a B cup. He's holding like little makeup patches up to himself. Just
Hello, Elijah.
someone. Oh yeah, sorry. That gets ingrained in there. Someone needs to put a bell on you.
9. I much prefer being quiet.
Is Sabella there too?
They all came back. They just
They're
literally
standing there.
appeared. Yeah.
It's physically there. Yes.
Oh, good. Disappearing. I had some questions about that, actually.
I do as well.
Well, we're not ever talking about it again because we're going to be ignoring those for the rest of our time together, all of us.
Don't.
For now.
So you picked up
Thing.
Dwight then, right? Because he disappeared.
Dwight disappeared?
Dwight disappeared. Kate disappeared as well. Maybe they're on a date or something. I don't know. Everyone is doing it these days.
You know what? Good evening. I have some reading to do. And I go take my books from Bolivia and I go set up in a corner and you can move me in 11 days. Or you can try, but work through the crits first.
Greta's gonna just point to one of his like swatches. This is often works best. It's that.
Okay, I have a bundle of things to go through here. He has a big pile of dresses and skirts and all kinds of things.
Very creative.
Speaking of reading, I've read a good book or two in my time, but those notes of yours are one of my favorite.
Are they reorganized, or are they all over the floor still?
Reorganized.
Okay, good. Because Greta was gonna be like, if she had returned in the state, they would have been all, oh man, it's the worst. Dankeschön. I worked most of the afternoon on them, and then Fraulein Ives apparently had teleported to 1920 and she popped back and was having a panic attack. Fraulein Kate was gone. I do not know what is going on. This is very confusing. But there's a lab, so
Right, and so as this moment of transposition and popping in and out and kind of getting everybody's life together as they go into the corner and they get their notes all back together and everything calms down for a moment, I thought that now would be the perfect time for me to ask everybody to roll a sanity check as you have just teleported around and popped back into places.
I'm fine. I had a great afternoon.
Did you want Elijah to roll one as well?
Oh yeah, you just saw two people appear out of thin air, and you saw Dwight disappear. So we're just going to put them all together for this one.
This is what I use my crits for, so I'll use one of those crits.
Okay.
My sanity does not need to take another hit.
Fine. Okay.
And Miss Ives stays in her corner, Bolivia books at the ready, unperturbed by the disappearances, irritated only with 1924 Dietrich and perhaps Grimjack. As we go back to wherever we are with Dwight and Kate. What are we going to do here, kids?
Fly the plane, Kate. And it's Dwight even can't believe he's saying it.
I assume it's a front back 2-seater.
It is.
Of course it is.
Second seat's the pilot, yeah.
Do I recognize the airframe? Is it something I've seen before?
I mean, you're familiar with every type of aircraft ever, but this isn't something that is personally relatable to Kate.
And nothing but grass as far as the eye can see.
You don't have like miles and miles of vision, but it disappears into darkness after a couple hundred yards. Probably more than you would have in a normal night. There's no moon there, and there seems to be some type of kind of backlit glow. So you're able to get a bit of but you don't see any structures. You don't see any people, no vehicles, no animals.
Stars?
Just a swirl of purple.
Dwight kind of stops her. Yeah.
Stop reminiscing. Stop thinking, Kate.
He kind of breathes in and he's like, he said, I've seen so much in my life. My world has been complete shit. And here we are with a plane. How we got here, I don't even know how to explain it. We got to get the fuck out of here. And you need to fly that fucking plane.
Well, Dwight, what gives you the idea that flying's going to get us any closer to out of here than running just did?
Look around. There's a plane. Explain why the plane is there. We're in a field. You got to fly that plane. You got to get us the fuck out of here.
I'm not stupid, Dwight. I know that's why it's here. That's exactly why I don't want to get in it.
I don't want to get in it either. But we're in a place we can't explain, and there's a plane. I have to do things I don't want to do. And you have to do things you don't want to do.
Are you giving the orders now, Mr. Burke?
No. I'm not. I'm not. But what the fuck? We literally just had a horde of Nazis coming. Well, no, not Nazis. Germans coming at us. And now here we are. I most certainly cannot explain our situation. But if I'm going to get in a plane with anybody on this goddamn earth, it's going to be you. So, and Dwight kind of goes, please, Kate, fly the plane.
Kate stands up, and as she does, she picks up the 45 and reholsters it. She takes another look at the amulet. Has it any change in it, by the way?
Roll spot hidden with advantage.
Hard success.
It's bigger.
It's bigger? How much bigger?
At least 3 times its size.
How big does that make it?
It's getting to be close to 6 inches from tip to tail.
I note that and drop it down inside my top, get my skin, and out of Dwight's sight, and zip up my flight jacket and climb up on the back side of the wing into that the rear cockpit. And as I do, as I slide in, I say, well, get up there and give it a spin. We got to get the damn engine running.
Look kind of up and down the plane. All right. And he throws the front of it.
Make a mechanical repair roll for me, Dwight.
Oh, you're serious.
Oh,
I'll quit it. Fuck it. Get rid of them. I don't even need them. Why do I even have them? Get rid of it.
Okay, so you wind it and you're able to prime the propeller as it comes into life, and as it begins to spin, Kate, you feel something against the bottom of your chin.
I look down.
It's about 12 to 15 inches long now.
I take it off before it takes my head off.
As you pull it off, it grows bigger. And you think you can see something in one of the triangles.
What do I see?
Roll spot hidden.
Extreme success.
You see Sabella Ives sitting in the corner reading a book. You see Elijah Sawyer trying on one of his costumes as he is comparing colors that accept his palette in this German environment. And you see Dr. Greta von Krauss going over a meticulous sheaf of papers. And you also see, apparently, beyond the sight of those that you know so well, a robed Dietrich sipping coffee and watching the three of them.
As if he's in the same room with them?
As if he's in the exact same room with them.
Huh. All right. I think about tucking it under my seat, but I'm afraid if it gets much bigger, it's going to put a hole in the damn side of the plane.
It's continuing to grow. In fact, when you touch the sides of it, it's getting wider and longer. Make an idea
Do
roll
I
for
see
me.
the amulet?
Yeah, you see it. It's enormous. It's maybe almost 2 feet long now.
Do we fly through it?
I'll make the idea roll. Hold on. That's intelligence, right?
Correct.
Oh, can I make one?
Dwight, you can make one, but this sumbitch is going to have to be an extreme.
Get rid of them, Gage. Why do I even need them? Crit.
Okay, Dwight's at 2. As Dwight, you look at it, and the only thing that you can think with this crit, and you have no point of reference for saying this, but it just seems to fit. It looks like a window.
It looks like a window. God damn it.
Kate. Windows are meant to be smashed.
I don't even know what to do here.
Fly through that fucker.
Can I cut the power to the engine, and I tossed it out onto the grass outside of the plane.
It lands and stands perfectly upright. It does not lay in the grass as it begins to continue its climb.
Yeah. Okay.
Up to down.
Well, Mr. Burke, it looks like we're not going to have to fly this plane after all. And I kind of vault down onto the grass next to it and walk through.
He kind of grabs Kate.
She's already through. You have to make a dex roll to stop America's Flying Sweetheart from walking.
Stop her.
Okay.
He lets her go. Dwight kind of looks back at the plane. And he kind of kisses it goodbye. And he walks through.
First Kate and then Dwight. As you walk in, Kate, you pass through the borders of this now grown amulet that is more of a gate or a window. And as you pass through, the sensation you feel in your fingers, in your head, in your belly can only be compared to flying. And as it dips and weaves for a moment, as you soar and pitch and roll, it's comforting. And you step out into the apartment. A second later, Dwight does. Dwight, make a constitution check for me, please.
Success.
Dwight comes through, green to the gills, but able to keep whatever it is he's had down, as the same rolls that are comforting to America's Flying Sweetheart are anything but to the World War I sniper, as you just appear in this place. And Kate, as you turn and take in your fellow Olympians, as they turn to take in you, you see a fading visage of this older bathrobe-clad Dietrich, and he sees you looking at him, and as he fades from view, he simply toasts with his coffee cup as he disappears.
Well, that was strange.
Fraulein Ives, they have returned.
I'm reading.
Dwight immediately goes for a cigarette and his flask.
And a quick look around just to count noses, make sure that everybody's President accounted for.
I just kind of like shuffle my papers, stick it in my bag, take a hand, set it on the lab desk. Willkommen, and then just get to labbing. Sciencing.
Dwight looks at Sawyer, and he's like completely relieved. And he kind of looks at him like, yeah, I fucked up.
What else is new? I'm gonna go put
Dwight
on
laughs
clothes.
at that. Dwight laughs.
I'm gonna go put on clothes, and then I would appreciate it if you could fill me in on what the hell happened.
I will.
And Olympians, as your first full day in Berlin recedes into morning to noon to afternoon to evening, you are no closer towards your goal, but you have piqued the interest of several factions that we mentioned before. Ludolf von Alvenschleben, Dietrich Prime, perhaps the Fuhrer himself. But you are the Olympians of Project Athena, and this is a bad day, but it is blessedly over as we finish this session of Project Athena. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, I, Grimjack21502, your keeper. Let's wipe the sweat from the brow. Let's ring it out, ladies and gentlemen. It could have gone south 6 ways to Sunday, today being Sunday. Lindy, Greta, how are you doing?
I mean, I'm doing spiffy. Honestly, Greta hasn't had that bad of a day. She signs the shit out of some code. She's gonna be up most of the night cooking up stuff in the laboratory. She got a wonderful view of Elijah coming back in from getting teleported from a wonderful view of Dietrich. She's having a good day. Honestly, she doesn't know why Sabella's acting all weird about this time travel business, because honestly, it's one of the least strange things that have happened to us at this point. Sure, yeah, she's fine. She's probably gonna be whistling a bunch of classical music in the lab and actually in a really good mood, which I don't think any of the Olympians have actually really seen her in yet. So that, it's gonna be real fun. You can find me online at Laugh Level Indie, having a great time playing all of the RPGs and D&Ds and all sorts of stuff on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me here every Sunday because it's awesome and it's the best. Tuesdays, you can find me on the Greyhawk channel in the afternoons, DMing Vecna Lives in the evenings on my channel, DMing Out of the Abyss. Greg and I are on Tomes of Tentacles, which will get released this Tuesday. I'm super excited. Wednesdays, I will be back for Doors to Darkness on Encounter Roleplay because sadly I did this week. And then 3 hours later, you'll be with Strider, also on Encounter Roleplay for Star Wars RPG, which I'm super excited about this week too.
Right.
Yes. Thursday at Web DM's channel, Land Between Two Rivers. Friday, back here for Firefly RPG, which is also super awesome, and I love it. This coming Saturday, you can find me on Power Score RPG for the second half of a little one-shot that we're doing, and it's a lot of fun.
Nice. That's a lot of things. Allison, Kate. It was an episode. What did you think of it?
It certainly was. Folks, I majored in physics and minored in nuclear engineering. I have studied quantum mechanics, and I've done math that will make your eyes bleed if they're not properly prepared before you do it. And I don't think I have ever felt quite so stupid as I've felt for the last 2 hours. So that's awesome. I'm gonna sort of revel in that for a while. Until next week, you can find me on Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y, where if you have any clue about what's going on here, I mean, I'd love to have it. You can just send it in an open chat, DM it to me, whatever you got, because my head kind of hurts a little bit. Thanks,
Allison,
guys.
Allison, mine does too. There was more explanation in there, but there was an inability to get rolls towards the middle that might have helped a bit. And I had to go with vague, which is never the best. Speaking of vague, Steve, Dwight, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Great episode. Confused, like like Allison. I mean, it was very confusing. But Allison, you are definitely not stupid. You are the best. Yeah, I mean, you're our leader. Uh, I had a
God help
blast
us
tonight.
all.
Yeah, I had a blast. Everybody did great. I'm not quite tonight. I'm left with a lot of questions. I don't know where exactly this whole thing is going to play out for us. So, having said that, I'm a big 50,000. Follow me if you want to. If you don't, follow these people. They're amazing, as I always say. I'm going to be starting Conan in a couple weeks. I cannot wait for that. Um, I'm going to be with Grant June 30th. I'm getting ready for my first D&D. I cannot wait to play D&D with streaming on Saturday, 10 a.m. I'm still deciding what exactly I'm going to be. Gigi, I think, is going to help me out over there. Follow me, follow him. What he's doing, yeah, he's shrugging his shoulders. He teaches me everything. So follow Grant. What he's doing is a great thing. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, brother. And as we go up to Elijah, as Elijah didn't have anything go wrong tonight, as Berlin has been very sweet to the silver-tongued devil. Strider, how are you doing, buddy?
Elijah's luck continues to persist into season 3, and I'm just going to bask in it. My notes got a little vague there at the end. I have 6 inches, 12 inches too big to tuck. If Kate takes it off, it grows bigger. So I'm going to try to decipher that a little bit later, or just come in blind next week and have no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Yeah, that was fantastic. We obviously need someone to take charge and spearhead us towards one laser focused goal. So Elijah's going to probably try to whisper to Kate a little bit next session to come on, let's go do this. But I'm Strider. Check me out on Wednesday on Encounter Roleplay DMing Rise of the Dark Side, Star Wars. Then catch me again on Thursday picking Skyrim back up finally. I'll get to play the little elf known as Laren Laloo. He's quite a bit of fun. So Sunday's the place where it's at, man. So check us out here next week. That's where I'm going to be planting seeds and plotting and hopefully actually getting shit done.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Lauren, Sabella.
Hi,
You're
I'm
mad.
Lauren.
You're mad at me. That's fine.
Twitter. Go there. See what I do during the week. And I'll be back here next week. Night.
I love everybody in this show. This was a weird one. We have a good 2 or 3 weird ones a season. I have found that in retrospect, the weird ones are the nightmare fuel that propels these fine characters into greatness, as the players are already fantastic. I adore everything that they do whenever I do things to them. This is a very fun time for me. My therapist told me I should say that. This is a very fun time for me. So anyway, my name is Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. You can join me here where it is at for 1933 tomfoolery and, by God, big fucking heroes, as these people are going to tear through Nazi Germany. Like 80% chance. A strong 60% chance that
Don't
they
worry,
tear
we'll
through.
fumble it.
You can see me here on the channel, things that we're doing that's super duper fun. This Friday at 12 noon Eastern, we begin Conan, An Age Undreamed Of. Lauren's going to be there. There's a cast of 10. They will be flipping in and out as we progress through different times in the Hyborian Age, so we will see exactly what's going on with An Age Undreamed Of. Followed on Fridays from 2 to 4 with the Firefly RPG I am running, Tales from the Big Damn Verse. And that's got Lindy in it, which is awesome. And then normally on Saturdays from 2 to 4, the sister show of the one you've just watched, Project Kronos, would be on. But this week I am doing a bit of a charity stream over on Unmade Gaming where I'm going to be playing some Pugmire with my man Ozzy, as I am going to be a pug. I'm going to be a corgi. I'm a corgi, I think like an artificer, I think, corgi. It's awesome. The artwork's awesome. I can't wait. Oh, we just had a donation come in. But anyway, and then in addition, always come back here as we're telling a story, and sometimes we tread some water, but it's only before we go off the high dive. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, this is my favorite story to tell, and it's grown into a life of its own. And the gaming den just said, I would like most benevolent Grimjack to have a happier time next session with a fun creature to pit against the... Okay, never mind. We'll jump on that one next time, as that's just a good thing to happen. Yeah, we'll... Next time we'll jump in on that. Next Sunday we'll see you all. What should we do? Where should we go? Let's go to Metamancer. Okay, everybody, we're going to go raid our good buddy Metamancer as we get out of 1933 and I get out of the frying pan and probably into the fire. We'll see. I love you all. I love chat. Chat's the best. These people are the best. Send help. Send help.